Well, I just got back from a week-long trip from Barbados. Me and my wife went down there for the week. We stayed at Sandals Resort. The two of them, I forget which one we stayed at. They're both right next to each other. It's like one big resort. We tend to stay at Sandals a lot because I like to dive, and they have a good diving service usually at all of their resorts throughout. So this time we went to Barbados in early November. It was about a week ago. So I just wanted to give a recap on some of the things we did and some of the equipment we used. Normally when I go down there, I'd kind of just rent their equipment for when I go diving. You know, that's one of the reasons I like Sandals. Everything's pretty much set up for you. I don't have to bring anything if I don't want to. And I pretty much call them up, say, hey, I'm going diving this morning, this afternoon, or whatever. They'll have all the equipment ready for me. I strap on the BCD and I go and I just take my GoPro and I have a great time. But my wife doesn't like to dive, so we go snorkeling, right? So a lot of people, I'm sure, have tried it. Some love it, some have been turned off by it. Now, my wife is one of those who has been turned off by it in the past, usually due to you're utilizing other people's equipment that's been used. Other people put their mouth on it, and you know that's just some people just rotted away. She's had bad experience with it, and I can't blame her. One of the other reasons I think some people may be turned off by snorkeling as well is because when they're sticking their face in the water while they're enjoying the beautiful habitat, the water sometimes comes over the pipe, and as you're breathing, it comes down the snorkel and straight into your lungs, and next thing you know, you're coughing up salt water, and that doesn't make for a pleasant experience. And you know, obviously you have to breathe through your mouth. You can't use your nose, and some people don't enjoy it for those reasons. So happily to announce these are some of the equipments that we used here. I have two of them. These are full-faced snorkels by Reef. Their marketing is underwater naturally, and I'll explain what they exactly mean by that. I have one in blue, one in red, or pink. That's my cat over there making noise. He gets into everything. Okay, so obviously the blue one's mine, the pink one's my wife's. And I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons. Mostly pros. The cons aren't necessarily a con, but if you're someone who wants to dive, you can't utilize this for diving. You can't use this for free diving either, and I'll explain why. But first, let's go through the pros here. So, comes in two pieces. Has a nice carry case that actually has some mesh draining on the bottom, or venting. Okay. I suggest anytime after use, whether it's in the pool or in salt water, you rinse it off, let it dry, throw it in the bag, and then you can pack it up however you need to. Now it comes in two pieces, that the snorkel and the mask. The snorkel will just attach to the top here, has two little tabs on the left and right, and when you want to take it off, you kind of just, I don't know, I found it easy just to wiggle it off, and there you go. You can pack it away. Now first, the mask is a full face mask, and it's very similar to a gas mask, which is nice, but they're comfortable. They don't pinch around the nose. You don't have to adjust the nose piece. They have a couple diaphragms in there that so water will come out, and if you're breathing out your mouth, bubbles will come out. If you fog up anything, it'll be the lower part here. It won't be any of the part where you're trying to view things. So it has a couple diaphragms in the water. Like I said, it comes out the bottom. Air will come out the bottom, and you pretty much take air in through the snorkel up top here. So it gives you a nice wide viewing angle, nothing to obstruct it. Okay, it is built, seems to be a quality build, which I like. It's made in Italy, so at least it's not made in China, right? So, but I think the quality is good, and I would definitely recommend. I would say it's a good piece of equipment. It has some straps that are adjustable. That are comfortable to go over your head. It's kind of like a very similar to a gas mask. So easily adjustable straps right here with these pretty much Fastex buckles. So and they clip in. This is an elastic band and easy adjustment. So that's the good part. And then also this snorkel has a GoPro mount. Comes off real easy. I haven't used it, but I'm sure it works fine. Now this is pretty much where the magic happens. This does not let water down it. So, which is nice if you're snorkeling and you dip your head too far into the water. There's like a little ball detent here that will float up and prevent water from going in. Now also it'll prevent air from going in, but at least you won't get the water down the pipe. So as soon as you stick your head a little far underneath the water, the ball comes up, I believe, and you'll know right away that you're under the water, because as you try to take a breath in, pretty much the mask just suctions to your face, and then you realize you're too far. You just lift your head out of the water a little bit, take a small breath out, and then you can continue breathing naturally. Hence the term. The good part about it is too, because you can breathe through your mouth and through your nose very easily, which is nice. You know, you don't have to worry about just breathing through your mouth alone. You don't have to worry about clearing out the water that's going to be in the snorkel tube. In case, you know, when you dip your head in, the water's going to come down. You don't have to worry about clearing it out. That doesn't happen. You do have a nice wide comfortable mask on your face. I didn't notice any pressure points around the nose or the forehead or anything like that. It was very comfortable. Okay, those are all positives. I think anyone who's had bad experiences in the past with faulty equipment or the water coming down a snorkel and you choking and inhaling a bunch of salt water, you're not going to have that problem with this, which so is why I recommend it. Negative. Just not really negative. Just you can't, if you want to dive, you can't use this to dive. You can't use it really to free dive either. You can't decompress. You know, if you're going down, I don't know, say past 6, you get to 8 feet. I usually like to decompress by blowing, you know, pinching your nose and blowing just a little bit to decompress the pressure in your ears. That way you can continue diving. Can't do that because of this hard mask here. The other thing is, when we were utilizing these, we were pretty close to a couple of shipwrecks, and they were only maybe about 10-15 feet down, and to dive down to the top or even inside the ship was probably about 10 feet, and I was free diving into the boat, and the mask is pretty much like having a big buoy on your face, and it constantly wants to just pull you out of the water, you know, or rise to the top. So that was pretty much a negative. And at one point I saw a guy dive into the boat, which I'll probably roll in some footage and some pictures. I saw this guy dive into the boat, and I didn't see him come out, so I wanted to dive in after him, and I couldn't really get deep enough. So I pulled off the mask, and I went to a stranger that was right next to me who was snorkeling as well, and I asked him to borrow his mask for a second. I threw it on, I dove into the boat, and I looked around. I didn't see the guy, so I'm hoping he got out a different exit or a different hole in the boat. But that was probably the only two negatives, was that you can't decompress, and it's kind of very buoyant, so as you go deeper down, it kind of just wants to pull you back up. And you won't be, obviously the other thing I guess is saying, like when you scuba dive and you have a mask on, the further you go down, obviously the further the pressure is going to be on your face, and you can't decompress these either. When you scuba dive and you get a lot of pressure on your face, and you want to, you know, decompress it from your face, you pull it off, but you know, naturally get water in there, and normally you would just tilt the goggles and blow out your nose and it would clear them out. You're not going to be able to do that with this. It's strictly just for snorkeling, pretty much staying up at the top, maybe, you know, a couple foot, you know, free dive, and that's it. For most people, I think they will rather enjoy that, and that's all they're going to use it for. And it comes with, like I said, it comes with this nice carrying case. You know, you put it into 2 pieces, rinse it off, you throw it in your little bag here, throw it in your suitcase, and you go. So that's pretty much it. I think I touched on everything. Like I said, the name is Ocean Reef, and it's made in Italy. Seems to be well built, and I highly suggest it. This is the other color I have. It's pink. This one's my wife's. So you got 2 cool colors here. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys liked the review on the Ocean Reef snorkel. I'm going to roll in some of the footage now when we did some diving and some snorkeling. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought. Catch you on the next one.